Hey everyone, Mah-Dry-Bread here. Pokemon Red with only one Porygon was super easy. Let's follow that up with a brutal one. Today's the day that we figure out, would I be able to beat Pokemon Heart Gold with a team of only one Munchlax? If you've seen me do this run in Platinum, then you know exactly what we're in for. Munchlax is a baby Pokemon that's an absolute tank with super high health, solid attack, and great special defense. The problem is, his base speed is 5. That makes him the slowest Pokemon to this day, tied with Shuckle. Remember that. We aren't nearly as tanky as Shuckle is, though, but we also deal pretty good damage, so that's a good trade-off. By level up, we learn a ton of pretty solid normal moves. The only ones that really stand out to me here are Rollout with Defense Curl, Body Slam, and of course Stockpile for the defense and special defense. By TM, we have a pretty long list of things that we can learn. Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, Earthquake, Flamethrower. I like a lot of this list. I wish that I could have more than 4. I feel like Return is a must-have for a normal type physical attacker, and I love the Rest and Stockpile combo for late game. Maybe Earthquake for ghosts like last time? I could see that working. Like always, I'm writing the script as I go through with the challenge, so all this part is being written before I've started. Everyone comment down below and guess if I can win or not. I don't know, I kinda remember Heart Gold being really hard last time. I figure I can at least win by level 100, but I doubt I'm gonna beat Red. Let's explain the rules. In combat, I can only use Munchlax. I'll need other Pokemon to use HMs, but I won't be allowed to use any of those Pokemon in battle. No glitches or exploits, no items in battle, only Pokeballs, held items, and items outside of combat are allowed. Also, if you enjoy the video, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let's do this. So right off the bat, I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Totodile with Munchlax so that we can do the whole run with it. I named him Orange, just like last time. Okay, so our ability is Thick Fat. It makes it so that enemies have half of the attack and special attack when using fire or ice moves on us. Our nature is Impish, so more defense and less special attack. You know what? I'm gonna roll with that. I was kinda hoping for extra attack and less speed, but this is rounding out our defenses a bit and making us less vulnerable to fighting moves. Believe it or not, I didn't restart once. Wonder if the IVs are any good. I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea how to check. You know what? I'm just gonna go Google that. So I found an IV calculator for Gen 4 and I punched it in. I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea how to read this. My best guess is that it's telling me that my defense is probably gonna be great, my speed will probably be above average for a Munchlax, and my special defense is pretty below average for a Munchlax. If I got all of that wrong, then let me know in the comments. So early game travel is kinda weird. We take tons of hits because of being slower than everything, but we're such a beast that it takes like 20 hits to knock us out. We have really high health and attack for this early in the game. I forget, does Falconer still use Mud Slap in this version? Because that sounds like an issue. I made sure to do Bellsprout Tower first, since I know that I'm gonna need more levels early on. No matter how hard we hit, if we're super slow, then they're gonna get a ton of free hits in on us. Not only with damaging moves, but status afflictions. I think we need to fight everything we can early on, build up tons of health and attack, and then hope it carries us all the way until we have better attacking moves. So I slowly grinded away at the Flying Gym fight for a while, thinking that I would get a very narrow victory, but because of Pidgey hitting Sand Attack, we missed Tackle against Pidgeotto. I still thought that we could get the win, but then he healed using Roost for a lot more health than we could deal in damage. Wow, I still have to grind for the first gym. So I come back a few levels later and easily win because they simply chose not to use Sand Attack or Roost. What? Why? Okay, so more travel. Again, I'm still fighting everything. We have a lot of hard fights coming up. There's the legendary Hiker Russell, the Bug Gym with Fairy Cutter, and then the often hard rival fight. Well, we start with Odor Sleuth, so I'm not too worried about hitting Ghastly, but Bayleaf will probably still hit hard with Razor Leaf. I need every level that I can get. Okay, Russell went extremely well. We only took like 3 damage the whole fight. I think my defense was so high that they just decided not to attack me because it wouldn't do anything. If so, that's kind of hilarious. Alright, you're not ready for this one. First try at the Bug Gym and he just keeps doing anything but attacking us. He just spams Leer a ton and uses Focus Energy. Eventually, he decided to bail by using U-turn, and it crit to literally one-shot us. Are you kidding me? So I tried the rival fight next instead, and although Ghastly was easy, Zubat was crazy hard. Yeah, Zubat. We hit ourselves in confusion and flinched a million times. By the time he went down and we got to Bayleaf, I knew we'd lose, but we never stood a chance. Look at how much he can heal. We have to do more damage. So we're back at the bug gym a level later, this time with Screech. Now, this took a ton of tries due to us being crit over and over and over, but this time, one Screech and Tackle got a crit for the win on Scyther, and the rest of Bugsy's gym are just total dud Pokemon, so we finally get a win. I hope the rival is easy now. We get back to the rival again, and now the first two Pokemon are super easy, but Bayleaf is still a threat. We got poisoned pretty early, but our Screeches were hitting, so at least we were dropping his defense. We'd have one-shot him, if not for his Reflect, but the moment it dropped, we took him out. Our health was still low, though. It was kind of close. Hey, it's finally time to get Return, by far our best move. I'll make sure to get a haircut while I'm in town for the extra happiness. It's Sunday for Shoot, by the way. I didn't just change the clock or anything. I booted the game up on my day off just to get Return. Now let's go bulldoze the normal gym. Yeah, so as expected, the normal gym was super easy. She could have stalled us out for ages if she just spammed Milk Drink after using Attract, but she didn't, so we won in like a minute. Okay, so we have the Ghost Gym next, but I'm pretty worried about it. Yeah, we can hit them because of Odor Sleuth, but we've got to use it on each individual Pokemon that we fight. Considering that we're slower most of the time, we're going to be giving them a minimum of 2 free hits on us for every single Pokemon we make faint. The only physical move we can learn that hits ghosts is Earthquake, and that isn't until much later, so I might have to bite the bullet and learn a special move. Well, the best one I can learn right now is Ice Beam, since I can't get my hands on Psychic until Kanto. So it turns out you can't just convert money into coins in the Game Corner and Heart Gold. I didn't remember that. You just have to play loads of Voltorb Flip. Look, I'm gonna be honest, I spent 30 minutes on Voltorb Flip and I officially hate this Game Corner. You frequently lose because the first random card you pick is a Voltorb, and then you lose your win streak and go back to making almost no coins per win. I would have to cheat the minigame with save states if I ever had any hope of getting enough coins for Ice Beam this week. Don't get me wrong, I'm willing to do that because I don't think a single person watching cares if I play fair with Voltorb Flip of all things. But I want to at least try the Ghost Gym without Ice Beam first, just to see how it goes. Oh yeah, but we have a rival fight first since this is Heart Gold. Now this rival fight is really easy until Zubat at the end who completely ended us. Yes, seriously, the Zubat. Like, again, the Zubat is the problem. We were poisoned from earlier in the fight, and Zubat got us to hit ourselves so many times in confusion that we fainted. What makes it worse is that every other time I tried this fight, we instantly got hit by Curse and were doomed. Yeah, that makes me think I can't do the Ghost Gym for a long time. I'm gonna have to grab the Quick Claw from the park and flip Voltorbs until I go insane. I'm using save states or Voltorb Flip, by the way. And you get to call that cheating once you've proven to me that you've found getting 10,000 coins in Voltorb Flip without save states fun. If you've played Voltorb Flip on an actual DS until you've gotten 10,000 coins, then comment down below and tell me if you thought it was a fun experience or not, because I'm expecting just to hear horror stories of frustration and agony. That's what I'm experiencing, at least. It ended up taking 40 minutes, even with save states. But eventually, I got there. Wait, they sell a silk scarf here too, right? I should pick one up while I'm here. Quick Claw for the gym, though. We need that 25% chance to attack first pretty badly. Rival time. This time we mopped the floor with them, but part of it was just luck on their move choice. Our Ice Beam really didn't do much damage, even to the Ghastly. That has me worried, because we're going to be fighting a lot more than just a Ghastly in the Ghost Gym. This is going to be a nightmare, isn't it? I get the feeling that we're going to be stuck here for a long time. So, check this out. This is the first Ghost Trainer in the gym, and although we can easily take out our Pokemon, I'm already spotting a problem. We only have 10 power points for Ice Beam, and we have low special attack from our nature. there's no way we're going to be able to deal enough damage to take out Morty's team. Let's go level up a bit. So I'm traveling and fighting all the trainers that I can. Here's the plan. I need to max out my effort values because I doubt they're quite maxed out yet, and then just grind a ton. I'm at the point right now where I'm generally considering leveling to 41 just to get rollout, since I don't think we're beating the gym with Ice Beam below level 41 anyway. I think I'm just gonna grind until our effort values are full, try the fight, and see how it goes. If I'm still losing, then rare candies are fine at that point. As long as your effort values are maxed out, then rare candies aren't gonna result in a weaker Pokemon. While I was traveling to the Lake of Rage to fight more trainers, I bumped into Raikou. Never had that happen before. Yeah, I just had some Pokeballs. I had no chance of actually catching the thing. Okay, this is insane. Literally minutes later, on the next route, I ran into Entei. Is it really easy to find these guys in Heart Gold, or was that just the luckiest thing ever? Anyway, we're out of trainers, and I'm still just grinding here. It's hard to say exactly when our effort values are maxed, since there isn't really a great way to know in this game beyond just counting how many Pokemon you've made faint, and that's pretty hard to keep track of in a Pokemon challenge. Sometimes you can test it by having vitamins that you use just to see if you're maxed out, and you load back to before if you actually end up using one you didn't want. As it stands though, I can't even get to Morty. I just lose to the trainers in the gym using Curse every time. I'm thinking that I'll need Rollout, Ice Beam, and a whole lot of levels before I can win this. Dude, it's been 15 minutes and I ran into Raikou again. I'm just gonna assume that it's super easy to find these guys in Heart Gold or something. Alright, so at level 37, we for sure maxed out our EVs, and yet we still can't get to Morty. I can hardly get past the early trainers in the gym. It's total luck if we make it. Curse is brutal, and being slower than them gives them so many chances to hit us with it. All the ghosts in here are pretty fast, and we're as slow as it gets. It's time to start using some rare candies until we can win, but I genuinely think that this is going to require a crazy level. I'm guessing 60, just to get past this one obstacle, and that's with both Ice Beam and Rollout. I just can't see us winning until we're faster than at least some of Morty's team, and that might not be until we're more than double their level. Make your predictions in the comments. Let's see what happens. Okay, as soon as I hit level 41, we learned Rollout, and I was able to get to Morty. Right away, Ghastly wasted his turn with Mean Look, so we started Rollout with a one-shot. Second was Haunter, who missed Hypnosis. That was lucky. Another one-shot. Third is Gengar, who also used Mean Look. That's another one-shot. Last is Haunter, who used Curse, but we one-shot him. What just happened? This gym was absolutely destroying me every time I walked in here, and then the millisecond I learned Rollout, we just steamrolled it. Okay, well I guess it's time for a bit of a boss rush. We have the Fighting Gym, the Steel Gym, and the Rocket Hideout, and then the Ice Gym. Well, the Ice Gym will be really easy with Rollout, and I think the Steel Gym will be okay with Ice Beam if getting paralyzed isn't too rough. Fighting Gym has me a little worried because of being normal type, but we have extra defense, so maybe it won't be too bad. Let's find out. Okay, so the Fighting Gym was super easy, just as long as Hypnosis misses, and it does pretty often. That wasn't so bad. Will the Steel Gym go okay though? So the problem at the Steel Gym is probably what you'd guess. Our Ice Beam does just about nothing to Steelix. I think we're not far away from winning though. A lot of the damage we take is against the Magnemites using Thunderbolt, but we nearly one-shot them with Return if we use a Silk Scarf. With just a few more levels, we'd win this for sure. Next try at level 55. This is one of those fights where everything has to go perfectly to make us win, but when it lands just right, it looks like an easy fight. The Magnemites both can confuse us and paralyze us, but neither one did this time. The other big thing was that we almost went down to Steelix, if not for how it missed a move and we did the exact right amount of damage to keep it from using a Hyper Potion, without keeping us from getting the knockout with Ice Beam. We were so lucky to have the perfect amount of special attack to do that, or we'd be here for a lot longer. Well, with that done, we just have the Rocket Hideout, the always easy Ice Gym, Radio Tower, and then the last gym. No need to hold off, let's just go rush and do it. Okay, Ice Gym was super easy. I thought maybe Rollout would be the way to go, but we were just so much stronger with our Silk Scarf return that nothing compares. With that done, we have the Radio Tower next. Obviously, nothing here is a real threat for us at this point, since we hit so hard with Return. But the rival fight still might be an issue. Let's see how that goes. Right away, Golbat confused us, but we one-shot him, so that's all he got to do. Magnemite was next, and we instantly got paralyzed and hit ourselves in confusion. Well, that's no good. After a few turns, we managed to get a one-shot with return, but we lost a decent chunk of health. Meganium put up Reflect right away, so we weren't hitting as hard, but we still took him out before we took too much damage ourselves. Sneasel was of course a one-shot, and last was Haunter. I was worried that we'd lose because he cursed us, and we were fully paralyzed, but on the next turn we got an Ice Beam in to get the win. Man, if I was fully paralyzed for one more turn, the cursor would have finished us off. That close fight aside, we only have the Dragon Gym left. I kind of feel like the current strategy isn't going to cut it for much longer, but I still think we stand a chance. I could see it being a nightmare if the Kingdra gets out of control with accuracy and evasion stuff though. Let's hope for the best. Okay, first try the Dragon Gym goes kind of okay, but we get out-damaged. I bet we'd win if not for Intimidate at the start of the fight. That's fine, I have a strategy switch that I've been wanting to do for a long time now, and I think now is the time to pull the trigger on it. I'm gonna replace Rollout with Rest real quick. I think that and Stockpile can get us an easy win. Okay, so almost half of the fight is just setting up against Water Onix, while we have to take heal breaks with Rest. He's got Dragon Rage, so he can do really consistent damage to us no matter how high our defense gets, but I got my defense buffs in, and got her to use a Hyper Potion, so I feel pretty good about how it worked out. The Dragonairs were super weak and gave me a chance to heal back up, and last was Kingdra, who we hit a few times and she kept healing, but then we crit for a one-shot. That went great! Well, this is Heart Gold, so we have a little bit more travel to do than normal, but no extra major fights. I mean, not at this point in the game, we already did the extra rival fight. I just have to go Shu Wei Ho-Oh before I can actually go fight the final rival fight. Hey, we haven't done like an MDB AMA in like a month or something. Let's do one. Okay, question number 1. Noah wants to know what my favorite gym puzzle is, either in appearance or in puzzle. Now, I picked this question because when I sat down to think about it, I realized I can't think of a gym puzzle that I particularly like. I don't dislike most of them, other than maybe the Platinum Fighting Gym puzzle because it's so brutally slow, but I also don't really think any of them are like super cool or anything. I don't know, I think most of the gym puzzles are just ranging between annoying or is fine. I'll just give a blanket statement and say that most of the DS Pokemon games have pretty cool looking gyms. Question 2, Anime Kuma Akuma wants to know, if I wasn't a YouTuber, streamer, or Nancy Drew Let's Player, what would I do? Well, here's some deep MDB lore for you. 13 or so years ago, when I started uploading to this channel, I was doing it as a fun side project while I hunted for jobs after high school. The job market was really bad where I was living for people who only have a high school education, and I wasn't nearly wealthy enough to go to college. Even back then, it was hard to get paid at all doing gaming stuff online. I figured that if my channel ever took off, I'd love to do it as a job, but until then, I'd be job hunting. Well, after 2 years, I never found a job, so I put all my time into YouTube instead. Considering I tried to find a job for years and couldn't, I guess if I wasn't a YouTuber, I'd probably be homeless. Money was always real tight until like, I guess actually about 2 or 3 years ago when I blew up on these Pokemon challenges. Thank you for that, I really appreciate that. Completely changed our lives for the better. It's not perfect or anything, but like, oh, it's so much better than it used to be. Alright, question 3. Lud's Counterattack wants to know when I first discovered Pokemon and what I thought of the games when I first played them. Well, I discovered Pokemon shortly before the games released in English, and I first played Pokemon Blue the week that it came out. Pokemon Blue came out in English in late September of 1998, so right after my 6th birthday. I already had a Game Boy and I was into RPGs, so naturally I got Pokemon Blue as a late birthday gift. Even in my tiny hometown of like 2,000 people, all the kids had Pokemon. It was instantly insanely popular. Everybody loved it, myself included. So I'm about as OG of a Pokemon fan as it gets, at least in terms of the English-speaking world. I started playing the first Pokemon game the same week it was released in English. Alright, that was fun. If you want your questions answered on the show, make sure to include MDB AMA, all one word, in your comment so that it's easy for me to search for. And like, please only ask real questions. Don't just use MDB AMA as your way to get your challenge requests seen. I'll have seen them anyway. Putting MDB AMA in those comments just muddies it up when I'm looking for the legit questions. Anyway, let's go on to the rival fight. So the rival fight was pretty standard, but also pretty long. We of course used the strategy of building up stockpile early, then fighting our way through. But they still put up a decent fight. We had to take healing breaks to keep us from fainting. I don't think we could have lost this fight unless they crit us a bunch. You know, as long as I'm careful. It kinda makes me worried about the Elite Four though. Now that we're at the Elite Four, let's take a look at our stats. I mean, 240 health at level 57 is pretty awesome. 64 special attack has me worried about when we have to fight Karen's Gengar, but I'm hoping that with enough stockpiles and some luck, I can keep Gengar from being too dangerous. Outside of that, and maybe Bruno, I think this might not be so bad. Make your final guesses on if I can win this or not. Let's do this. But right before I went in, youngster Joey called to tell you to follow me on Twitter, where I ramble on forever about whatever I was thinking about in the shower that day, while giving unsolicited advice to content creators in the audience. So I withdrew my Pidgey to fly, ran from the nearest town to Joey, got into a fight with Raikou again on my way, then got into the fight and one-shot Joey's team. I do love that Joey's Raticate is faster than us when we're at the Elite Four. Really puts into perspective how slow we are. Alright, now let's do this. First is Psychic Trainer Will. This one went great as no one on his team did any serious damage to us. We didn't even end up needing to heal once, and they only took me to just above half health by the end of the fight, so it went great. Second is Poison Trainer Koga. This fight was much slower, and I'm sure you can guess why. It's because he poisons us over and over, and every time he does, we have to use Rest. That gives them 3 chances to hit us since we're slower than them, and most of the time, when we wake up, we can use one move, then rest again. The Ariados fight at the start took forever since I had to build up stockpiles, but he hit us pretty hard with crits. Fortress took a while due to being super tanky, and Muck was really annoying with his full restore and minimize, but the fight was still a first try. Third is the fighting trainer Bruno. The fight starts with Hitmontop, who hardly does anything to us, so it's really easy to build up our stockpile and finish him off. Second is Hitmonlee, who we can one-shot, but hits us really hard with high jump kick. Third is Machamp, and this is where it gets bad. We can almost one-shot him, but he can just hardly two-shot us, and he's faster. You know what? Cross-chop misses pretty often. Let's try this a few times. Okay, a few tries later, and we get to Machamp with way more health because Hitmonlee used Swagger instead of high jump kick. Thanks to that, we could just one-shot Machamp. Onix was of course very easy with Ice Beam, although his Sandstorm did hurt quite a bit, so our health is getting low. Hitmonchan ended up critting a Thunder Punch to take us all the way down to only 10 health, but then we used Rest and he wasn't strong enough to take us down before we woke up. Finally a win. Fourth is Dark Trainer Karen. First we try and build up stockpiles as Umbreon uses Double Team, then switches out to Gengar. I started doing damage, but then she used Spite and we ran out of power points. Okay, well, I know what I'm using my PowerPoint ups on. Okay, I see what kind of fight this is gonna be. Next try and Gengar uses Destiny Bond right away. So no matter what, we're gonna faint when we make her faint. I think I need to keep trying until she does something different. So 8 tries later, and it turns out that we need to hit Gengar with Ice Beam about 7 or 8 times before we're gonna get it to faint. Thanks to, you know, full restores. That's a lot of luck. I think it's time to just come back a few levels higher and keep trying. So another 5 tries later, and finally we get around where she just uses Spite every single time so we win. The whole rest of her team was super easy with Return. That took way longer than I expected. I totally forgot about Destiny Bond. Finally, Pokemon Champion Lance. Water Onix is out first with Intimidate, so our attack is down the whole fight. Right away, I started building up our stockpile, but he's faster than us and uses Waterfall, so we can flinch. He crit us early to nearly take us out, but we hung on with 21 health and used Rest. As soon as we woke up, I hit Return twice to take him out. Next was his first of 3 Dragonites, and this took forever. The strategy is just to hit attacks and heal with Rest when we need to, but he's just so tanky that it takes forever to get a knockout. Eventually, we did, and next was another Dragonite who just paralyzed us. He didn't hurt us much though, so I just hit an Ice Beam, he got frozen, and I took the chance to use Rest again before finishing him off. Next was his last Dragonite, but like before, it was Ice Beam, full restore, then 2 Ice Beams for the knockout. Second from last was Charizard, who did just about nothing to us, and last was Aerodactyl, who's fast and can make us flinch with Rock Slide, but still wasn't hitting crazy hard. We almost took him out early when Ice Beam left him with a sliver and froze him, but he used a full restore. That's fine, because we crit next turn for a knockout. With that victory, we get into the Hall of Fame and win the run, but you know it's not over yet. Much like in Gold, Heart Gold has all of Kanto in the post-game, including 8 gym battles and a secret final boss fight with Red. Normally, we skip ahead to Blue because the other 7 gym leaders are super easy, but I don't know that. I haven't done Kanto in Heart Gold since Heart Gold was new, and I vaguely remember it being harder. So that means I'm gonna go into a boss rush of all of the Kanto gym leaders. I'll do them in order, just for fun. Oh, and I also ran into Raikou again on my way back to the Poke Center after beating the game and showing up back in New Barktown, but I wasn't recording at the time. That's 5 Raikou and Entei encounters in this challenge. They really want to be a part of the video, I guess. First is the Rock Gym. This was easy but brutally slow. We went through most of the power points on both attacking moves by the end because they were so tanky, and we ran into an annoying issue where my defense was stuck at only +1 stages because we got hit by Screech and you can't stockpile more than 3 times. 7 minutes is pretty slow for one of these fights, but at least it wasn't that hard. I'm happy I picked up Leftovers while in Kanto. It'll help a lot in these longer fights. Second is the Water Gym. They never got us below half health, and we were never in any danger. Kinda get the feeling a bunch of them are gonna end up being like this. Third is the Electric Gym. Super easy sweep with return, hardly even got hurt. Fourth is the Grass Gym. This would have been super easy if not for how we got hit by Leech Seeds, so we were giving them tons of health. We only hung on because of our Leftovers, and even then we had a lengthy war with Tangela at the end that was way too close for comfort. Fifth is the Poison Gym. This took us 2 tries because in the first one we hit ourselves 3 times in a row after being hit by Swagger, and ended up knocking ourselves out. Next try though, and we don't hit ourselves, so the whole gym goes great. Sixth is the Psychic Gym. This one was super easy, we only took 1 hit the whole fight. Seventh is the Fire Gym. It took a while because Megcar Go is kinda tanky, but other than that, it was just because we got burned and had to take some time to get rid of it. Maybe I should still skip the first 7 gym leaders in future Heart Gold runs. That was way too easy. Time for the big blue fight. Right away, he puts us to sleep and hits Leaf Storm for tons of damage, but that drops his special attack. He just uses it a bunch, ruins his special attack, and then we take the chance to stockpile, heal, and take him out. Machamp was next, and his Dynamic Punch hurt and confused us right away. We hit ourselves, then he hit us again to nearly take us out, as we finally hit return to leave him with a sliver. He switched to Stone Edge, it hardly hurt us, and we used Rest to heal back up. As soon as we woke up, we took him out, with about half of our health to spare. Rhydon was still a pushover, so I used him as our chance to heal, and Arcanine was a real quick and easy 2-shot. Second from last is Water Onix, so our attack is down, but he still went down super quick. Last was Pidgeot, who did something I've never had happen before. He used Whirlwind and switched us out to an HM Pokemon. Alright, that's hilarious. Hey, it helped him out too, since forcing me to switch not only gave him a free hit on me when I switched back in, but it got rid of my defense buffs from stockpile. We still just switched in and knocked him out to win the fight, but it was a funny strategy. Wow, I can't believe we're not even level 80 and we're gonna fight Red. I have no idea what Red is like in Heart Gold. I don't even know if I got this far in when I was playing Heart Gold casually when it was new. Well, I'm happy with how this strategy has been working so far. I'm confident that I can beat Red, but I think I'll have to be like level 90 or above. Make your guesses down below. Let's do this. First try at level 78, Pikachu hits a Volt Tackle to nearly one-shot us, then finishes us off with Thunderbolt. Well, I see that Heart Gold Red is much harder. Usually Pikachu's the dud Pokemon. I'm gonna get a few levels real quick. Okay, all the way at level 85. We still lose most of our health to Volt Tackle, but we have about a third left, so between return and his recoil damage, we take him out, but we get paralyzed off static. Next up is Blastoise, who has Focus Blast and takes us out. Okay, I'm getting a strong feeling I'm not winning this one. So I tried a few more times at level 90 and nothing is different. I can hang on a little bit longer if I use Stockpile at the start, but I get less knockouts by doing that. Okay, we need to get to level 100. It's the only way we stand a chance. Okay, so at level 100, I spent an agonizing 9 tries trying to build up Stockpile against Pikachu. Because there's non-stop hail in the red fight in this game, and Pikachu keeps using Volt Tackle, there's a soft time limit on this fight before Pikachu knocks himself out. And if we don't have at least 2 stockpiles, then Blastoise will just destroy us with his Focus Blast. I literally never once was able to get a 3rd stockpile, and never even got a single move in on Blastoise on any attempt. I think it's fair to say that Munchlax can't quite handle this red fight. That's fine. I'm just happy that I actually beat Lance in Heart Gold this time. You know what? For a Munchlax run, that was pretty good. Not nearly as brutal as Platinum, probably just because in Platinum, every Pokemon in the world has close combat. I really hope you guys like that run. The next Pokemon run should be up next Saturday like usual, with Pokemon Gold with only 1 Shuckle. Oh man, that's gonna be a slow one. As always, I'm looking at your suggestions in the comments in the challenge request section of my Discord channel and on Twitter. Subscribe, ring the bell, stay tuned. Okay, outro. So I guess this isn't the best place to ask this, but it's the opportunity I have. I've been thinking about trying Fallout New Vegas and doing like an explosives only run. I thought that might be like a really fun thing to do, but I was trying to think like how possible is that, right? So there's going to be a lot of enemies in the game that you could really, really easily take out without explosives. And so using an explosive on them would be it'd be essentially using a lot of very expensive ammo on something that is not particularly threatening. Usually you save explosives for the big scary stuff, you know? So if I were to do a run where I'm like really, really focused on explosives and what do you need to craft explosives? Probably like repair skill and some explosive skill. And I think there's like a perk that unlocks a few good ones. I don't know. Any of you who've played a whole lot of Fallout New Vegas, just like I have, any of you who may have spent a lot more time crafting than I have, may be able to tell me how easy it is to mass produce explosives in that game, you know? Like, I know you can make like dynamite and there's like tin can grenades and stuff that you can make, but I don't know how abundant some of these resources are in terms of like how practical it is to keep getting this. I think the gunpowder, you could just break down like pistol bullets and stuff that you pick off enemies and stuff, so that's potentially not too bad, the lead and gunpowder and whatever. But other stuff, I don't know. So if any of you have ever like tried to go really heavily into crafting explosives in Fallout New Vegas, let me know in the comments what that was like for you. I'm sure you probably like used other stuff too, you didn't only use explosives, but just tell me what that experience was like. How hard was it to keep a stockpile of explosives and everything? Because that might make for a really fun run at some point. Anyway, this won't surprise you. I should go make some breakfast. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and until next time, have a nice day.